Okay, so you should have opened up that next set of cards. These are reproduction and ecology cards in relation to each of these 6 groups. And if you think about the predictions that we just made as we were kind of going through the morphology and the anatomy, we see that we actually did pretty well on predicting these. For example, Group A lives in moist to dry terrestrial on-land habitats, is capable of sexual reproduction, and that's free of water. Group B lives in moist terrestrial habitats, is capable of sexual reproduction, but relies on water to facilitate that sexual reproduction. Group C lives in aquatic or moist habitats, can only reproduce asexually. Group D lives in aquatic or moist habitats, is capable of sexual reproduction, and relies also on water to facilitate that reproduction. Group E lives in moist to dry terrestrial habitats and is capable of sexual reproduction, free of water. And Group F lives in moist terrestrial habitats and is capable of sexual reproduction. So the plant cards that we've just reviewed for both the morphology and anatomy and the reproduction include these 6 plant groups: cyanobacteria, green algae, bryophytes, ferns and fern allies, gymnosperms and angiosperms. Can you think of which of these groups might correspond, or which of these names might correspond to the groups that we've just reviewed? Well, Group A equals angiosperm. These are the flowering plants. You know, these are the plants that you're most familiar with. So you saw the wood chunk here, all of the fruits and vegetables, all of the flowers, sunflowers, beans, peas, mustard, maize, rice, mango, bamboo, anything else that produces a flower, even if the flower is really small. Grasses and rice and these types of things also produce flowers. They're just not big showy flowers. But these are the flowering plants, the angiosperms. That's what Group A was. Group B were the bryophytes, and the common names for the bryophytes are mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. So we have here the mosses, liverworts, and the hornworts. Group C were the cyanobacteria. So here's a couple pictures of some cyanobacteria, some that are more single, living more alone, and other over here that even start to become a little bit colonial. They start to kind of connect to each other. Group D were the green algae. So here you can see plumes of green algae, and if you zoom down in, green algae have this appearance. But there's actually, green algae is a huge group, and there's lots of different morphological types within the group green algae as well. Group E were the gymnosperms. So these are things like the pines, the conifers, and the cycads, and the ginkgos, and so forth. And Group F were the ferns and fern allies. So these are the ferns. Remember, these don't grow very tall. They stay close to the ground. They don't have the woody parts. So those are the ferns. And that takes us to the end of the Explore for plant diversity. And we'll make sure and keep track of these cards, because these cards will be used when you do the apply activities as well. So you might even now take your cards and maybe print them off and then write what the scientific name and common name are for each of these groups, and use these throughout the semester.